Randy, and thank you to my friends and colleagues who are here tonight. This has been a journey together, and we all can celebrate the good that we have been able to render. Thank you to my husband, John, who, little did he know, had a warning of my teaching obsession when, as a romantic newlywed, he found a matching container of construction paper, glue, and scissors under his side of our bed. We needed to make holiday reindeer for 35 third graders. That was just the beginning. Thank you to my son, Matt, whose music is a constant inspiration to me. The 40 or so years has been rich for many reasons, one of which is the fact that the principals with whom I have worked have allowed me the professional freedom to select novels, stories, and strategies that I felt would be meaningful to students. Each day, I strove to share something of value with them through reading and studying volumes of fantasy, mystery, Gothic, science fiction, American world, and children's literature courses I was able to design. And because of my love for the written and spoken word, the students and I read orally classic works that made the stories come alive. With my love of art and the belief in the power each student has within to express their ideas and feelings with images, I was encouraged to incorporate artistic interpretations into my lessons. Looking back, it is incredible that the Oak Park Unified School District is a brand new district with its first graduating class in 1983, saw the need to establish an alternative high school in 1982. Larry Mizell, then a teacher, approached the district and Board of Education about a continuation high school, and they said yes. I was asked if I would like to help start the school. Would I? And because of their foresight and the community's concern for all students, hundreds of students have graduated from Oakview High School who may not have made it otherwise. Teaching students at Oakview was presenting curricula and assessing knowledge, but it was also engaging in meaningful human interaction. The loneliness, disaffection, fear, and dislike of school needed to be understood and addressed. Often our job has been to reassure students that life is worth living. The school and its caring staff have provided a warm haven from the chaos of the world for the past 26 years. As Parker J. Palmer reminds us in his book, The Courage to Teach, teachers must turn toward students, not away from them, saying in effect, there are great gaps between us, but no matter how wide and perilous they may be, I'm committed to bridging them, not only because you need me to help you on your way, but also because I need your insight and energy to help renew my own life. Oh, how my students' insights and energies have renewed my life along the way, and I thank all of them with whom I've been privileged to work and learn. With new teachers, I emphasize the life-touching, comforting roles they will find themselves playing to ever-grateful young people who so often are overwhelmed in the world in which they find themselves. I hope that they also adopt this teaching philosophy of Palmer's, to which my colleagues and I have subscribed. Quote, good teachers possess a capacity for connectedness. They are able to weave a complex web of connections among themselves, their subjects, and their students, so that students can learn to weave a world of their own. The methods used by these weavers vary widely: lectures, Socratic dialogues, laboratory experiments, collaborative problem solving, and creative chaos. The connections made by good teachers are held not in their methods, but in their hearts, meaning heart in its ancient sense as the place where intellect, emotion, spirit, and will converge in the human self. As good teachers weave the fabric that joins them with students and subjects, the heart is the loom on which the threads are tied, the tension is held, the shuttle flies, and the fabric is stretched tight. Small wonder, then, that teaching tugs at the heart, opens the heart, even breaks the heart. And the more one loves teaching, the more heartbreaking it can be. The courage to teach is the courage to keep one's heart open in those very moments when the heart is asked to hold more than it is able, so that teacher and students and subject can be woven into the fabric of community that learning and living require. Thank you.
Take a picture here with you. Take a quick picture with you. And Darren's going to walk it down for you. Okay, got it? Right there. Quicker together.
Take two.
Got it?
Take
Okay,
one.
good. One more?
First one's perfect.
Great, good. Nice job. Congratulations. Thanks, Dan. The next one's going to be a little bit different. Posthumously, we're going to honor and recognize an individual that has a school in Ventura County in Oxnard named after him, Richard Haydock, over on Hill Street, I believe. And we're going to ask Javier Gomez and the Haydock Party to please come forward. Let's pay tribute to this great late educator. From Mr. Haydock. Javier? You folks want to come out? I know we had a student body president I met earlier from Haydock. You come on up. And the vice president. And the first mayor of Oxnard. I don't think I realized that. Okay.
Thank you.
It's all yours.
Thank you. Javier Gomez invited us to receive the award for Mr. Haydock, and it was tremendous opportunity for two of our student body elected officers to be a part of something a little bit bigger than a little school in South Oxnard. So I'll introduce to you Adelina Mendoza, who is our vice president, and Astrid Trejo, who is our president.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and special honorees. My name is Adelina Mendoza, and I am the Vice President of Richard B. Haydock Intermediate School Student Body Council. I am very much honored to be here this evening to share some important facts about a great educator, Mr. Richard B. Haydock. Before I start, I would like to first acknowledge the presence of my parents, trustees, Mr. Dennis O'Leary and his wife representing the Oxnard School District Board of Education, Mrs. Amelia Sugden, the current principal of Haydock Intermediate School, and Mr. Gomez, last year's Hall of Fame inductee. I am deeply saddened that no one from his family could be here this evening. Yet, as I look out into the audience, I realize that he is not alone, that his school family is here to share this evening's precious moments with him. You have to excuse me as I stand here a little bit nervous. I am about to describe to you an individual I never met, but I feel his influence each day as I walk about my school and even in my city. Mr. Haydock was born on March 20th, 1867 in Paducah, Kentucky, and passed away at the age of 92 on January 3rd, 1960 in Oxnard, California. He married Victoria Lee Martin in 1893, and they had only one child, Ethel Martin Haydock, born on October 18, 1905, and passed away on February 27, 1937 in Los Angeles, California at the age of 31. Mr. Haydock left a lasting imprint on his students, teachers, the educational institutions in the county, and the city of Oxnard. He lived during a time when the county looked like the last frontier, mostly undeveloped lands, wild and lawless. Somehow, he pioneered a new future for himself and others. You might be wondering, who is Richard B. Haydock? At the age of 6, his family migrated from Kentucky to California during the era of the gold rush in hopes for a better life. They first settled in Stockton, California, then they traveled south, arriving in the city of Ventura in 1876. They settled on Main Street near California Street. He attended Hill School as a child, a 2-story building. At that time, it was the only school in the county. Since there were no higher education in the area, he had to travel to Los Angeles and live there until he finished his schooling. He graduated from Normal High School on December 17, 1885. Upon returning to the area, he was immediately hired as a teacher in the northern part of Ventura in 1886, most likely at the school he attended as a child. A year later, in 1887, he was hired as teacher and principal of the newly built school in Hueneme by the Ventura County Superintendent of Schools. In the years 1901 to 1906, he became the principal and superintendent of the San Pedro School District. later to be renamed as the Oxnard School District after Oxnard was incorporated as a city. For 4 years, from 1906 to 1910, he served as superintendent for Ventura. Then he was rehired on 1911 to 1939 as a principal and superintendent of the Oxnard School District. In 1921, his title changed to being only the superintendent until he retired in 1939. From 1888 to 1939, he was elected as a trustee to the Ventura County Board of Education, serving 55 years. His leadership qualities caught the attention of many politicians in the county who recruited his services. Hence, his other most impressive accomplishments outside of education were likewise amazing. From 1901 to 1907, he served on the founding Board of Trustees Council for the incorporation of Oxnard as the fourth city in the county. On June 30th, 1903, he was unanimously elected as its first mayor, serving until 1907. He was the only non-factory man who did not work for the Oxnard sugar beet factory and not influenced by the Oxnard brothers. Visualize the landscape at that time. Oxnard was very flat, open plains with untouched, rich agricultural soil. And sitting in the center of the area was a massive, newly built sugar beet factory in 1898. In an instant, Oxnard was born. It became a boomtown overnight, creating great needs: housing, schools, post offices, law enforcement, businesses, roads, and railroad tracks, essential for the transporting of the heavy bales of sugar being exported out the area. The population exploded. Men came from everywhere to work in the factory. Did you know that many of the homes in Hueneme, Sadecor, and even from Ventura were uprooted and brought to Oxnard? Hueneme became a ghost town. Likewise, many merchants moved their businesses here, abandoning their cities. Mr. Haydock realized the vital role he must play in shaping the future of this new city, even being elected on the Trade Commission. Today, it is called the Ventura County Harbor Commission. He viewed the city of Oxnard's development in ideal terms. In 1906, he solely pursued the funding and building of the first library in the city, petitioning the Carnegie Foundation. He worked hard to collect the necessary funds for its construction and for the purchasing of its contents, books, visual aids, maps, and etc. He even drafted the structural design detailing how he envisioned it should look. Surprisingly, the chief architect in charge reviewed it and was so impressed that he utilized his rendering to construct the library. Now that's amazing. I can go on and detail his entire life, outlining the many committees and boards he sat on, and let me assure you that his involvement with them was serious and constructive. He never wavered from his responsibilities. This evening, we are not just honoring a great educator, but a pioneer who paved the future for others. I am extremely honored to play a little part in helping the county to recognize a great humanitarian who truly took his role as educator serious. To receive this distinguished award this evening is the student body president of Richard B. Haydock, Astra Trejo, who is an 8th grader and hopes one day to be a psychologist. She is 13 years old and was born in Ventura and now lives in Oxnard. My friend, Astra Trejo.
Thank you, Adilene. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and to all the 2008 Ventura County Educators Hall of Fame honorees being inducted this evening. What does this award mean to me and the student body of Haydock Intermediate School I represent this evening? My name is Asher Trejo, and I am student body president of Richard B. Haydock Intermediate School. And it is my distinct honor to be here this evening to receive this prestigious award on behalf of the late Mr. Richard B. Haydock, the Haydock school family, and the community of the city of Oxnard. I am not a direct relative of his, but we investigated locally and nationally to find out if there were any living relatives of Mr. Haydock, and we were not able to find anyone. However, just recently we discovered that Dr. Jim Cowan, our former Ventura County Superintendent of Schools, happens to be a distant relative, but on Mrs. Haydock's side of the family. Therefore, I am here this evening as student body president to accept his honor. This award has a significant importance not only to me, but to my school and the local Oxnard community. Let me share with you some interesting facts about Mr. Richard B. Haydock, 92 amazing years he lived. Upon graduating from Los Angeles Normal School in 1885, he was hired in 1886 to teach in Ventura. At that time, Hill School was the only school in the county. He was hired in 1887 to serve as the sole teacher principal for Wainimi School upon its completion. It was a comfortable two-story building. From 1888 to 1939, he served as a trustee for 50 years on the Ventura County Board of Education. Later, when the area of Oxnard was being mapped out and developed, he was recruited by the Ventura County School Superintendent and the local residents to serve as the San Pedro School District Principal from Superintendent from 1901 to 1906. Later, the district was renamed the Oxnard School District in honor of the Oxnard brothers when the township became a city. Ventura somehow convinced him to serve as their superintendent from 1906 to 1910. After that, he was rehired back by the Oxnard School District, serving as principal superintendent from 1911 to 1939 until he retired. We also discovered that at one time he became the owner of the city of Simi Valley. After attending a courthouse auction while he was auditing the county's books, he won the bid. What I find interesting is that he was a big sports fanatic. Like many people of those times, he was a baseball enthusiast, not only as a spectator, but also as a player. I read that his contemporaries feared him because he was an ace pitcher. Our sources also discovered that in 1887, he was recruited to teach in Wainimi by the county superintendent so that he could teach baseball to the youngsters at the new school. Gosh, was baseball the only fun activity to keep kids busy? Those times must have been quite boring. I know I wouldn't be able to survive. And I can't imagine not having my cell phone, iPod, or going to the mall. I know I wouldn't be able to survive those times. No Starbucks? Now can you imagine me milking a cow? Yet I strongly believe those kids were fortunate to have a compassionate and caring teacher such as Mr. Haydock, who was there for them. Teachers are like our second parents who look out for our best interest. I strongly believe in my heart that in those days, kids were very lucky to have Mr. Haydock. On a personal note, he believed in the importance of family. He married the love of his life, Ms. Victoria Lee Martin, in 1893. Ethel Martin Haydock was their only child, born on October 19, 1905 in Oxnard. But sadly, she passed away on February 27, 1937 in Los Angeles, California. She was only 31 years old. Mr. Haydock lived a full and rich life. His contributions to Ventura County, and in particular to the city of Oxnard, were enormous. He gave so unselfishly. He viewed everyone as part of his family. He was a pioneer in the wild frontier with a rare vision who was ahead of his times. He had a positive outlook about the future of his new city, Oxnard, that in time it would develop into a powerful, influential city in the county. Because of Mr. Haydock, the building located on C Street between 4th and 5th Street next to the plaza is a beautiful historical museum, the Carnegie Library. He solely raised the necessary funds for its construction, and afterwards he served as a trustee on the library board of directors from 1911 to 1959. Currently, that building is being used as a museum and art gallery. An interesting fact I discovered was the architect in charge with the construction of the building was extremely impressed with Mr. Haydock's detailed drawing of the library, that he used it to construct the building. I'm just so puzzled to think how he did so much. He truly loved this area. One of the most important facts I find interesting about him is that he was a member of the founding board of trustees council to help incorporate Oxnard as a city. He was unanimously elected as the first mayor of Oxnard on June 30th, 1903. We discovered that he was the only non-company man serving on the council. He was a respected leader. I am truly honored and blessed to say I attend Haydock Intermediate School, and on behalf of his family, the student body, our teachers of Haydock, and for the community of the city of Oxnard, I am honored to receive this award. Last but not least, I want to personally thank the selection committee for selecting a true pioneer of education, who merits our praise and applause, Mr. Richard B. Haydock, a true Hall of Fame educator. Thank you. By the way, please don't forget to vote on November 4th for candidates who support education. Thank you.
Just looking at that quickly, did you notice he was on the County Board of Education for 50 years? Did you see? I guess, were there no term limits then? How do you do that? I don't know. I'm kind of, maybe I'm envious. I don't know. Let's see. The SC was up with a minute left, 44-10. UCLA is up 14-0, and the Dodgers up 2-0 in the fourth. Yeah, that's all the important stuff out of the way. Next, we're going to, and I can remember all that with no notes, everything else I have to look at. Dr. William Lawson is going to be recognized next, and we're going to ask Jim Gale to please come forward. Okay, Jim? Great. Good. Doing great. We're right on schedule.
Before Bill Lawson came to Moore Park College, I didn't really appreciate what vocational education meant. But I do believe that he lives and breathes vocational education. I've known Bill for 41 years. We were together at the start of Moore Park College, and early on we shared the evening administrative duties for a couple of years. And before I knew it, Bill had bailed out and gone to the district office to assist Herm Sheffield, the superintendent at that time. Bill has taught me some things about lack of brevity. I am appreciating it very much this evening. Bill was a major player in the development of Oxnard College. He planned it, helped staff it, helped get the facilities, and the whole ball of wax. And that was a major part of his duties when he went to the district. Then, the next thing I knew, he was the Dean of Vocational Education at Oxnard. And he played that role for, I believe, 5 or 6 years. When he became Dean of Vocational Education and economic, well, I can't think of the word right now. But anyway, he went through the chairs of Dean of Voc Ed and became ultimately the Dean of Continuing Education. And following that, he retired in 1995 and has since started the Lawson consulting group. And as far as I know, that's still in effect. It's been a pleasure to work with Bill for many years, and I am very proud to be able to give Bill his entrance into the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Good evening. I'm very pleased to be here, and my presentation will be a little short. I found out they didn't have a teleprompter, so I will have to condense a little bit my